Okay. So I take the section I weaved out. Do you see this? Get that, hold that tight, tuck that foil in, hold the comb, and then paint the lightener on there. Once the lightener's on there, you can see I can manipulate the foil. Now, thick curly hair, you gotta make sure that you get that product in there and really nicely saturated, because you want it to lighten good once it starts processing. I would just continue to move up her head in small sections. The smaller the sections, the more blonde she's gonna get. The bigger the sections, the less blonde she's gonna have. I also like to hold curly hair a little looser when I'm weaving because it helps me get a better weave. If you pull it tight, sometimes you might struggle a little more with curly hair. Also, I would recommend when your curly hair clients come in, you ask them to come in with their hair freshly shampooed with no product in it so it's not sticky and gunky and hard for you to manage. Now this is not a balayage, this is not a hair painting, this is a classic blonding procedure to get her pretty blonde. And we're moving all the way up her head. Again, I'm not looking to hold that loosely. Weave that comb up and down, pull that out. You guys see that? Tuck in, pull. Now I was explaining to the other class, better quality lighteners do not swell with heat. Sometimes cheaper lighteners like this one I'm using right here will swell if this was a real human with the body heat. So you have to be careful not to go up too close where it can overflow and you can get spotting. You guys have any questions as I'm doing this? No? Okay. So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to work all my way up. I'm going to do a little bit here, brick layer as I go, side to side. And then I'm going to move up to the front section. After this client is done processing, I will do a base break on her, which means I'm going to use a hair color, a permanent hair color product that is cool toned with 5 volume, just to lift this a little bit and break that base so she doesn't have such a stark line at her root. That is called a base break or a base bump. The trick when you're doing a base bump or base break is you cannot let it stay on more than a few minutes because it'll get too light, and once it starts going into the warmth section of it, your hair color is ruined because then it'll be too warm and it'll look orange, it'll look brassy, and we don't want that. Guys, just be careful with that because it does shoot out when you're mixing, okay? Did it get you? Yeah, just make sure you clean everything up and that you get it off your hands and you have gloves on. So then I'm starting on this side. Once I meet up here, then I can go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, all the way up the head, all right? So that's how the back would. Once I complete the back of her head, I'm gonna take a side, a diagonal part right here. You guys see that, how I did that? A diagonal. That'll help me get a really nice highlight by her scalp. We make this nice and fine. Do Do I need a TikTok? Everybody's got one? I don't have time. Okay, so same here. And make sure that's nice and saturated. If by any chance your foil like slides down and there's lightener out, you simply put your comb back in. You should have a glove on and you pull the hair and reposition that. And then you can close it.
Oh, straight her.
The biggest thing when you're doing color is to never freak out and always stay calm. Most things are fixable. So can you guys see how I'm working up that side here? Now I'm weaving because if I did a straight slice across, like I showed you guys the other day, it would be more stripy. And she wants to be all blonde with a very natural look. So the weave is how you're gonna get a much softer natural highlight on this client. All right. So once I'm finished with the side, I would foil all the way up the side, okay? Then I would go to the front of my client after I do both sides, and I would look at my client and I'd say, I already had the consultation. I know she wears her hair to the side, right? So she has an off-side part. So I would take this first section here and slice it. Okay? Do you see how I did that? I took out that first section. Always keep in mind when you're highlighting where the color is going to land softly. And here I'm going to weave out of here. Do you guys see that? I get that first one in there, nice and tight, hold that tight, get my lightener, nice tight placement while I'm holding the hair with good tension. Now the foil's not going to go anywhere and I can saturate while holding my other hand underneath. All right? Now we can close this. You can either use your hand or some people like to use the comb if you like them really neat. It all depends on what is comfortable for you. And we keep working back. Again, small sections so we get her mostly blonde. Don't be afraid to foil and color curly hair. Most clients have curly hair. And if you can really become an expert at foiling and coloring curly hair, you're gonna have much success in the salon, that's for sure.